Welcome to another episode of Happy Never After. I am in studio here. This is Mara Merrick. I'm one of the hosts. The other host is in a car out in San Diego. Joel, go forth.
Coming to you live from the Dodge Ram.
The Dodge Ram studio. And a very special welcome back to our favorite attorney, Ira Garr. Hi, Ira.
Yay.
Good morning, girls.
You got out of your Corona pants.
What?
You got out of your Corona pants.
Yeah, I had Corona a while ago. I was living in sweatpants, but I thought I would dress up for you pretty girls.
Thanks.
You look lovely.
Thank you. Yeah. So has your business been booming?
Business is actually pretty much the same. I mean, I'm really wondering what will happen when people finally realize that they really don't like each other and they're spending too much time together. But you know, it does cause problems because, you know, people who live together, they go to work, they do their thing. Now people are together 24/7. They don't leave their apartment.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult. I think relationships are difficult under those circumstances. But we've had work. I mean, I've about a dozen clients I've never met. It's never happened to me before. They've called up and said, "I want to get rid of the bitch." No, they didn't. They did not say that.
Talking about their mom. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it was their mother too. But no, seriously. I mean, people called up and said, "Look, I've got your name. Things aren't working right, or I need to switch lawyers. Things aren't moving quickly." And it isn't the other lawyer's fault sometimes because things aren't moving quickly in the court because there's no access to the court personally. So everything is by Skype or a Microsoft team, and you have to arrange for these conferences. And when you lose the immediacy of being before a judge, judges have the ability sometimes to sit down with the clients, look at them in the face and say, "What are you doing? I think you should settle. This is what I think." But it's not
Judges say that?
Yes, they do.
Oh, wow.
But it's not as compelling over a monitor.
Joelle, did you have to sit in front of a judge when you got divorced?
No, we did it super easy peasy. We just did the decree. He signed. My neighbor stood there and watched as a witness, and he left.
Theoretically, you young women would be perfect for me. You got divorced. Mara's had 3. The only problem is you don't have any money, so I couldn't take you.
Yeah, I know.
But
I had some money, and then you helped me get a lot of it back, most of it back from my house situation. Thank you for that.
right.
Ira gave me some solid advice when I was going through my house problems.
I didn't know if he was there for all the divorces you had.
No, we
I
didn't.
can't afford
We
it.
didn't
All
know
right.
each other. She was a child bride then. So,
Yeah, no, it's funny because my last husband, we filled out the paperwork, signed it, and then turns out he never sent it in. So still married. So I filed.
so let me ask you an important question.
Okay.
3 divorces.
Yes.
Cumulative time married is what?
Well, with my last one being the longest since
Right.
I was still married,
Right.
5.5 years.
That's the cumulative of all 3.
Yes.
Well, that's close because that's close to the average.
Well, I don't know if it was 5.5 or 6.5 because I don't know if my first one was 2.5 or 1.5 years.
So that sort of approximates what the average marriage of one person is. So you're high on the.
Really?
Yes.
That's the average is 5 years?
Something like that. At least
Wow.
my girlfriend tells me that because she like chalks up and says, it's 5 years. Somebody should be calling you soon. No.
You have a spike.
Yeah, we do. No, but I really do wonder at the end of the COVID if, you know, there are people who are, it's frightening because they have no place to go. Like if people wanted to separate, where do you get a new apartment? Where do you go buy a house? Where do you go look for something? A lot of buildings are closed. They don't allow showings. It's caused.
Incomes are lower.
Incomes are lower. You know, for wealthy people, I usually don't worry because everybody comes out okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some more better than others. But if you have a middle upper class family and they're living reasonably nicely, where are you getting 2 apartments? And let's say someone lost their job. Someone owns a successful restaurant. They're out of business.
Out of business.
They're out of business, and they're not getting back in business.
Nope. A major vegan chain just went under this morning. Chloe's.
It's so tragic.
I know.
I mean, I live. My office is a half a block from Smith & Walensky's, and I think they're a public company now. And I've been going there since 1977. I know all the guys there. I know the managers. They're closed, and somebody said to me, they may not open again.
What?
And this is a restaurant that did, from what I understand, $25 million a year in revenue. But they're huge dining rooms. They're packed. They make money because they're packed. If you go to open up and at 25%, if the governor allows indoor dining, you can't make a living at 25%. You can't cover your rent. You've got your rent. You've got your staff. You've got to have
your salary is the major
and you have to have a kitchen full of food.
Yeah.
And if you don't sell it, it spoils.
That's why they're doing all those limited menus now.
I would think so.
They're only doing those like half sheet papers, and you're like, did you guys write this out this morning with crayons? What's going on?
And it doesn't make it as attractive to go to a place where you have 6 choices.
Right. You want the old menu.
Correct.
Yes.
So,
I was watching, I think Housewives was in there. They filmed in there once, and I was watching it. I got trapped behind. I was wrapping gifts in it just, how it rolls over. I stopped watching Bravo because they don't have a lot of interracial stuff on there. There's like, when they have like all white crew or an all black crew, it's like, hello, we're friends. Let's do this. Anyway, so
they're moving to Alabama. It's going to get really white.
Not a lot of teeth.
Not a lot of teeth.
Not a lot of teeth. A lot of fingers. I used to do auto finance, and we did a gig in Alabama once. And the guy the general manager rolls up in his wheelchair, and he did have 6 fingers. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. He had a whole wad of cash in his hand, and I was like, good thing you got that extra finger holding on to that cash. And then I was like, I gotta go.
No, but I mean, that was the thing that I found remarkable when I would watch Trump rallies. And I don't want to be political, but you'd see these hillbillies there, and they're screaming. He's going, the stock market is up. And I'm going, which one of these people have a 401k? Who has a 529? Who even has a job? I mean, It's like...
Ira and I talked at the beginning of quarantine, and he was like, yeah, I've just been doing a lot of day trading. I was like, yeah, me too. I have 4 stock.
Stock.
I have 4 stock. I'm not even
really
going
doing well.
Plural on that, even at 4.
Yeah.
So sad.
PayPal. Go PayPal.
Yeah.
Write that down.
I know.
Etsy.
Etsy? I did buy a lot of gifts from Etsy. Ornaments, actually.
They take 30% from their people.
Artists?
All I know is I had researched. I had heard about it. I didn't know what it was. My girlfriend, being a woman and knowing about crafts, said, oh, yeah, I've used that. So anyway, I bought Etsy at $48, $160 today.
Whoa.
This is the last time you'll ever see me as a lawyer. I have a new profession. It's somewhat.
How did you make it? Etsy.
I'm going to give you my $200 extra every year, and
you can be in my hedge fund. That's okay. but you know what? It's really actually doing the divorces. You're dealing with people's emotions and angst. There's a certain sort of. It's almost like a hobby, but it's pleasurable to just look at numbers, look at trends in the economy, and trade. It's kind of relaxing. It's fun.
It's like Candy Crush.
Yeah.
It is fun when
or Best Fiends, like our sponsor.
But it's fun. It's fun when the market goes up. When the market goes down, it's a little less fun.
A little less fun.
A little less fun. But seriously, that's the thing. I think people right now are in a difficult position because they're stuck. Where do they move? What are they doing? What are they telling their children? And I had a client the other day. One of the kids got COVID. Then mom got COVID. Now they're quarantining. One parent has one child. The other parent has the other child, and they're both quarantining. It's a very awkward situation.
This whole thing has been real weird on relationships.
I don't see it. They talked about rolling out a vaccine. We're not getting a vaccine till this spring.
Well, they said it landed in Ohio, but yeah, they still don't know who to distribute it to first, and it's going to go to the wealthy.
Well, it's certainly going to go to the healthcare workers, and then it's going to go to the older people, and then some people, obviously, You're not going to get the same care if you got sick that Rudy Giuliani's getting.
No. Did you see him in Borat?
Yes.
Oh.
You finally watched it.
How did they get him to do that?
What do you mean? How did they get him to do that?
I mean, show up in a room with a 15-year-old girl?
Who was like...
Did it all on his own.
All on his own.
Hoo-wee.
Ooh-ee.
Hoo-wee.
Hidden cameras are a bitch.
They sure are. And I just can imagine that's some sweaty, tiny balls that she was reaching down for. That's all I could. I saw those pants, and I was like, "That's a lot of pant. There's a lot of room in those pants." You know what I mean? Surprisingly, he's a big boy. A lot of room.
And by the way, after 3 marriages, this is an expert on balls.
I do like a set of nice small balls. I don't like big balls. Joelle, do you like big balls?
I want to know what is small and what is big to you. Like, are we talking?
You can fit
like,
both of them in one
grapes?
hand. Both of them in one hand.
I was going to say marbles, walnuts, oranges.
Yeah,
I mean
like cuties.
Like a nice medium-sized sack, I think, is healthy. Or you can feel it smack behind you, but it's not.
Are we censored? I could show you something.
I was doing a Zoom session, and I did see a naked person come into the screen on accidente. They came in they came into the room to get some clothes, and I was like, "Hi, I'm on camera."
I actually got confused today because I said to Mara, "Am I here for the senior men's bathing suit model?" And she said, "No, you're doing this."
Put your clothes back on.
Yeah.
And I have a Speedo underneath.
It's getting uncomfortable. He's sweating a lot.
I am. But don't say sweaty small.
Your banana hammock looks filled, okay? I saw it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'd like for us to play Joelle's parents for right now. Okay, ready for this? We're role playing, okay?
We're Joelle's parents.
You and I are, yes. We fucked, we had Joelle, okay? Ready? So,
Gross.
Joelle, how's your relationship going? Let's start from the beginning.
Oh, with my man?
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah?
It's incredible. I've never had a healthier relationship where we talk about it all. In the past, acknowledge it. We were going over things that are downfalls, like sharing about what we think our weaknesses are, or maybe our quirky things that might be annoying. It was good. It's been great. I mean, for instance, the podcast went out the other day for The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. And
The Good, the Dad.
The Good, the Dad, excuse me.
Okay.
Also
on
Ugly.
Be Frank Network. Yes.
Yes. We love them. They're hilarious. But it said camper fucking on there. And I was like, oh, that was from about a month ago, right? And I was like, I just want to make sure I acknowledge that with him, that he knows, I see this, and if he wants to listen, by all means. But I talk about fucking somebody in the camper.
She lives in the camper. She lives in the camper.
I'm definitely not in your tax bracket.
You're definitely not my daughter. You'd be in a penthouse.
Take me.
My unemployed daughter is living in a luxury apartment with a terrace, and she thinks this is common.
Why do you think I'm trying to get into on this relationship, Joelle?
Jeez, I worked in a warehouse last week for a week and just in the dirts. But yeah, no, we talked about it, and he's like, you had a life before me. I don't expect that to change. And, where we're at now. We are where we are at now.
How long are you together?
We're going on about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. That sounds like certainly a solid and long relationship.
Yeah, it's going great.
For us, for Joelle and I, yes.
And how did you meet him in the middle of this pandemic?
I met him through a mutual friend on Instagram.
Aha.
I saw a video of him and my friend, and I was like, man, I want to meet this person. There's just something about him that I wanted to know more about. And I reached out, we just started chatting. And then within a week, he drove down to visit me. And
10 hours.
We spent 10 hours. He drove 10 hours to see me. and we spent 4 days together in my 20-foot
he's desperate.
camper.
Let's worry about this. 10
I'm a
hours.
catch, Ira. I'm a catch.
I can tell.
Despite being in my truck right now and living in a camper.
Look, I'm your dad. I took care of you all these years. I know you're a catch. I haven't pushed you to get married. But by the way, if this thing works out, we'll give it another 2 weeks. Would you like a large wedding, or would you just like a down payment for your first house? It's your call.
A down payment for my first
See,
house.
my daughter is smart.
She is.
I mean, the ones who go for the wedding are misguided.
No,
Yes.
I never was a little girl that dreamt of a big wedding. And I don't know if it's because I never had strong marriages as role models, but it was just nothing that appealed to me. And even when I did get
Mara
married.
and I were in a strong
I know,
marriage.
come on. We fought a little bit, but we thought we kept it private.
It just never was my dream. And even when I did get married, I was just, just do this and do that. And I don't care. I just want it to be over type of attitude with it. I really.
The wedding or the marriage you wanted to be over with?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. The wedding shouldn't have happened by how I was going along with the planning and everything. Like those were red flags right there. So yeah, no, I don't need to have a big wedding. I don't even feel the need to really be married unless it's for monetary or healthcare or whatever, but I can take care of myself.
You aren't married, and you've been with your girl for a long time.
Yes. I was married twice.
Oh, good job.
I'm trying to catch
I know.
up to you, you know.
You're so close.
I
might make another lap, though. I might.
Yeah?
Maybe. Why not?
What's the law in New York? Do you have to wait a year before you get remarried after your divorce?
You can
No, you can get
divorce.
married the next day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not in Nebraska.
Not in
Fun
Nebraska.
fact.
Yes.
Is that for real?
Yeah, they were like, just so you know, like you can't get married for a year.
You're like, I'm
you
going
were
to
planning-
just go to Texas then, and I'll.
It's a lot easier to get married than to get unmarried. In most states, you have a jurisdictional requirement to file for divorce. Like in Florida, you have to be there 6 months. In New York, you have to be at least a year, or you have to be married here. There are requirements. There's no requirement to get married. You just get the license. There may be some residency requirements. I think that's why people go to Las Vegas. You've got a 12-second residency requirement, and you get the Elvis Chapel.
Yeah, Mara, you've done that, right?
Yeah, I did that the first time.
Vegas?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You fill out your marriage license with a golf pencil.
Mm-hmm. I had a very nice couple that was getting married in Vegas, and they did it cool. I can't mention the people, but one of the participants was quite wealthy, and they rented a private.
All of your clients are, yes.
Pretty much. Anyway,
if you guys Google this man, you'll see who his clients are. They're impressive.
But it was cool. What they did is they rented a private plane.
Mm-hmm.
They took their best friends out. They checked into the Encore Hotel.
I used to work there.
And they took over like a ballroom or something like that. Then they went to the Elvis Chapel to get married.
Nice.
And then they just partied on for the weekend.
Mine was similar. I flew in. We drove. We rented funny dress and funny tuxedo. Went and got hitched. I was wearing too big, like the huge Cinderella gown. And we did the helicopter flight afterwards, and they had to like shove my dress in. So it was all in the glass, the front of my dress. And then afterwards, I had used my fake ID to get a drink at the Tropicana. So similar. Very similar.
Yeah. It's funny that you.
Pictures.
It's funny you mentioned
too.
the helicopter trip. I have a little vertigo thing. I don't really like flights. And about 20 years ago, I was dating someone. I said, let's go to Vegas for a few days. So we were in Vegas, and she said, I'd like to go to the Grand Canyon. Like 4 hours. I'm not driving to. I said, okay, we'll take a helicopter to the Grand Canyon. So I rented a helicopter. The worst experience of my life. I get up there. I do 2 shots of bourbon before I even get into the helicopter at 10 in the morning.
Good.
And she says, is everything okay? I said, wonderful. And they give you, headphones like we have, and they're playing music. I swear they're playing the music from Titanic. And I'm thinking, I don't see icebergs, but this is not a good sign. And the thing just goes up, and my stomach goes down.
Oh.
And she says, are you having a good time? And look, guys will do anything to get laid. So I said, oh, yeah, it's terrific. It's wonderful. I'm having a terrific time here. And then they take you down in the canyon and they go about 6 feet from the edge of the canyon. I'm going, this is horrific.
And they drop you quick.
And they drop
just
you.
Go, whing, like that. It's so fun. You would love it.
But then they give you a box lunch. That's really exciting.
I know. You spend so much money, and they're like, here's your Fritos in a box.
Right, here's your Fritos and a bologna sandwich. Right. And some Ripple or some horrible wine.
Yeah. I was like, thanks, I got married today. This
So-
is perfect.
So that
With
was
your
my...
dress up to your nose.
So
I
that was
can't
married
see
today.
anything.
So that was the first and last helicopter trip I will be taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
I stupidly, when Blade came out, you know, the Uber Blade,
Yeah.
one of my clients may be an executive there at the old Uber, and they were like, will you do this as a trial? We need 10 trial people. And I was like, yes, oh my God, yes. And I thought it was going to be so fun. And then as I was going to my Blade time, I was like, wait, I'm a trial on a wait a second. What am I doing? Why do I say yes to everything? Say yes
You
to
didn't
ice
see
cream.
the big skull on the sign for signing. You're like, go, let's just go a pirate.
Release the liability, huh?
As long as we're talking and we're your parents and
Yes.
it's open season, what is it about Mom that you didn't like growing up?
It was not my mom, Father, that I had the issue with.
It was not your mom, Father. There's something ominous about that. I thought 50 cents a week was a good allowance. I don't understand. You had a problem with me?
No, we had a rough relationship growing up, my dad and I. We're better now, but it was rough.
I thought I was her dad.
I know.
You.
Okay.
You and I.
Her real parents, so she does have the camper. I'm just going to go over this a little bit. She lives in the camper, she's traveling, but it is, COVID times. There's no income in a camper life. To kind of help out, they said that she could park in their driveway space, the parents did, and then they took it back and said that she couldn't, and they made her a reservation at a campsite next door, which was like $1,500 a month or some craziness, which is more than your monthly expenses altogether.
Yeah.
It's
They
crazy.
I know. They fronted me, but I have to pay them back. And I'm like,
She was going to San Diego to save money, and now she's spending a lot more. It's insane.
I'm a student. That's part of it too, is I was hoping to have a place where I could, have a solid study area.
And Wi-Fi, so you don't have to drive to it.
Look,
Yeah, that's why I'm in my truck, because my Wi-Fi at the campsite's so terrible.
since we're imagining that you're our
Yes,
child, get in the car, turn the key on,
I'm in.
drive up to Laguna, check into Montage, give him my name, you're fine.
Aww.
Love you.
I'm going to be
Thank
there.
you. Let's go.
And then you can go over to Forest Avenue
Oh my goodness.
and have a nice lunch.
Oh, do I give them your name there too? Because I
Go to 232 Forest. Food's very good.
2:30. I write that down along with PayPal and Etsy. Okay.
This stuff frustrates me so much that people that don't appreciate their children and because I cannot have children and I get so upset. I'm like, not your parents. Your parents, they had some challenges, but there's some other parents and I'm like, this fucktard got to have kids and I couldn't have kids and I'd be a great mom. I'd be hard. But
it's my second wife had difficulty getting pregnant, and we were doing the deal where I was giving her, I think it was Pergonal shots and stuff.
Oh, I was like, cups of sperm? What were you doing? Drink this.
Okay. Okay, I will share something with you. When you do go and you have to give a sample,
Yes.
they stick you in a room and they give you a little jar with a green top, and you're supposed to leave a specimen. And it's sort of like Pavlovian's dog. It got to the point that I couldn't get an erection unless I had the little green top to look at. It was like, I said, where's my cup?
Yeah. You just have it on the bedstand.
Yeah,
That's why you like your girlfriend. Those green braces she has.
on her legs or her teeth.
Either way.
No, but seriously, I mean that the infertility thing is horrible. We were in Acapulco, and she was ovulating.
Las
I go,
Brisas?
No, we were at the Princess. Las Brisas and the Princess in the 80s were the two places you could go.
Nice. Yes.
And although we went up to Las Brisas and,
So nice.
it's beautiful.
It's so gorgeous.
So we had to get the shots. Now they have to send needles and medicine through the mail. And I'm thinking, they're going to think we're drug dealers. So I had my office send a package, legal materials. And it came down to Acapulco. And I'm giving shots in Acapulco. But the thing that was distressing, just like you said, we would drive into Acapulco. We'd have a driver take us in. And you'd see these 22-year-old women on the side of the road with 6 kids.
Yes.
And you'd say, why are we struggling to have kids? We have a great house. We'll give them a great life. And there's 6 kids who are going to grow up and have no life.
Right.
It's not the way things
I know. And
should
they're
be.
going to try and flee, Mexico to come to the United States and then get taken from their parents. And it's like, why can't I
Well,
just
they
have
are
a
bad
kid?
hombres, probably. I mean, you
Yeah.
can tell when you look at a 2-year-old that's probably a rapist or a murderer.
They're at 2, they usually are.
They show it. It
Yes.
shows, right.
You're like, I'm frightened.
Right. There's a reason they say terrible twos.
Terrible twos.
But,
Yeah, it's
so are we all surviving the election fallout now?
Yeah, I'm actually with so I also met someone off Instagram, and I did a radio show, and then the host connected us. Anyway, it's a long story. It's a short story, and it's boring, and everybody's heard it a million times. And so we started anyway, he came on the 2nd of last month and stayed for a month and went home for 6 days and then just came back again. And I'm telling all you this to say this, is a Trump voter. And so we have daily heated discussions at home about it. He's like, you voted for Biden. I was like, yes, I did. I absolutely did. And yeah.
We need to talk. Trump voter. We need to talk.
I know.
Because either somewhere in his genes, there's the redneck gene or the racist gene.
Well, he's Puerto Rican.
So he's a racist Puerto Rican.
Wealthy Long Islander Puerto Rican.
It's funny. One of my Pilates trainers went down to Miami, and she's doing my thing from Miami, and she said you couldn't believe what they fill the airwaves with. If Biden is elected, the country will go communist. It'll be like being like Fidel's Cuba. And I always wondered, why didn't they ask these people if when your parents and grandparents came here, if Trump were the president, you'd still be in Cuba? You wouldn't have let him in. They don't get it.
No.
And they really pulled a super con.
It's really, if I have to watch one more non-credible YouTube clip about why it's better to have Trump in office, I'm like, can you give me a credible source and not this YouTube self-made bullshit? I can go make a YouTube right now and say that Kamala used to be a snake, like an actual snake, and she grew. It's like please, no one take that out of context and clip that. I was making a funny example.
No, but
we should have used unicorn.
Yeah,
but it's really frightening when I said again, I'm a divorce lawyer, but I did go to law school at one point in time, and I did take constitutional law at one point in time, and I'm looking and I'm saying, Texas has no standing. How can they bring a lawsuit? This is ridiculous. The Supreme Court can't accept that.
Right.
And they didn't. He's still trying. He's still trying to file lawsuits. Everyone loses.
He keeps losing immediately.
Because there's no case.
Right.
There's no case.
His ego. Yeah.
A waste of money.
Yeah. And
But what's more frightening? That 70% of the Republicans believe the election was stolen.
Yes.
To this day. It's
Yeah. They still think that there's a chance that he's going to win.
And you're dating one of them.
I know.
She's dating one of them.
Thank God he's got a great
I know
dick.
this is going to cause a lot of problems in our marriage. I'm open marriage. I didn't care that she's dating somebody. But now that I find out she's dating a Republican.
Are there statistics on that? Like if partners are different parties, like does that ever affect anything? Like with divorce?
I wouldn't have statistics, but I have to tell you that I have a very close friend. And she's got, she's a liberal New York girl, and she's got a Republican boyfriend. If he votes for Trump, we're done. She said it's hard. I mean, I have I don't say disenfranchised. There are a few people I will not go to dinner with any longer because it's too painful. I can't listen to it.
The best thing is that he's such a staunch Republican, and he visited me on November 2nd and forgot to go vote beforehand. So he actually didn't place his own vote, which is, he's like, he only won by 70,000. I was like, probably could have won by 69,900 had you voted. But you didn't, bitch. Anyway, it's going great.
But I mean, it's going
He
great.
came back.
Yes, he came back. He's here. I know. I
For
like
how
him.
long?
Through the new year.
I got to tell you, the body thing wears off after a couple more weeks. You'll be done.
I know. Let's see. Let's just get through the holidays. I want to, like someone to make out with on New Year's.
Obviously.
Obviously. I want a present.
You want a present?
I want a present.
Okay. You're entitled to.
Thank you.
I'm not hurt that you're cheating on me. It's okay.
You're cheating on me. She moved in my room,
She's in my room. She's wearing my clothes.
She's eating my groceries.
I don't think she took any of my sweatpants. I got to check.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I do like this one. And I think the fact that he challenges me every day, and I really do have to come up with great arguments, or else he does squash me on those, which really frustrates me. So he does make me a little smarter, which is great. Keeps me on my toes. Do you have that in your relationship? In your outside of our marriage relationship?
Yes.
It's nice.
I mean, interestingly enough, not only is my significant other, I never know what to call, because at my age, to say a girlfriend sounds ridiculous.
A puss at home.
What?
I know.
But she's 20 years younger, so like it's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right. But my age would be in a nursing home. We can't do that.
She has a really pretty name.
Natalie.
Yes. Right?
The deal has become is she's also my best friend, and she's really smart, and she gives me good insight about, when there are issues in the office, how would you deal with this? And she'll say, wait a minute, why don't you start this way? Or why don't you extol someone's positives before you bawl them out for something they've done poorly? And she's got good people skills.
That's
which is
nice.
Which is important.
Yes.
Because it's also really important. I mean, when I get serious in my business, because there's lots of people who know the law, but if you're not good with people as a matrimonial attorney, you're not having clients.
No.
People want you to understand their situation, or at least be superficially empathetic with it and understand what they're going through.
I think you have to be hyper aware of body language and
Well, that's the other thing
intuitive.
that's so strange, because I have a trial coming up. It's going to be a Skype trial, and it's a custody trial at the end of January, and I don't think we should do it, because when you're in the courtroom, you see the body language of the people testifying. You look at the judge. You see, is the judge watching the witness? Is he taking notes? If he's not taking notes, he's turned off on that witness, and you can't get that.
Interesting.
I just think it loses something. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it.
That's what I was. That's where I was going with the Bravo thing. One of the ladies on the Bravo was like, "Oh, my divorce is taking 2 months longer," and she's like in the top 1% of income in California. And I was like, "Oh yeah, oh finally we found the one person that the pandemic is affecting. Thank God they got this on camera. We found her. Like, bitch, people are dying. Like, what are you talking about?"
That's the other thing it's very interesting. I was before, on one of these conferences with a judge whom I respect a lot, and he's a really good guy, and the clients are wealthy. There's no emergency. I mean, we have an application that should be heard, but he says, Ira, the world has changed. Do you see what's going on? This is about money. These are rich people. They're going to come out okay.
Yeah.
We can chill for a while. And I was upset because I think, my client is entitled to the relief that we're asking for, but on the other hand, I can understand how the judge looks at this and says, these are champagne problems. These are not These are not day-to-day problems.
Right.
And I feel that a lot of the judges are, if it's not an emergency, if somebody isn't taking a child and moving to Nepal with the child or something and saying, I'm not coming back, it isn't an emergency.
Right.
I didn't get paid this week isn't an emergency.
Right. That is.
He brought the child home 4 hours late is not an emergency.
Yeah. And that unfortunately happens a lot.
Do you feel like with all these Skype trials and everything that they will eventually be brought up as not sufficient, in court down the road? They're like, no, you didn't do this right, or it wasn't in person, or like try to discredit it of any sort?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about that, because what they do is they have a court reporter there. They're taking down all of the notes. So it has all of the attributes of a real trial. But what I do think is going to happen, for example, I think they're going to streamline procedures in the future for, like, we have a thing called a preliminary conference. The first time you come in and you meet the judge, you have to fill out some forms. And let's say you're scheduled at 9:30, but the judge has 30 matters on the calendar. You might not be heard till 2 o'clock. Not fair to the client. The client's paying for a lawyer to sit there for 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'm getting paid. So I go around and I bullshit with my friends who are in
No, you go around and bullshit with people? So
a little
like
bit.
You.
I mean, because I know all the lawyers there, and it's not terrible. But what the courts have done is, like, they say, okay, 2:30 to 2:45, we're going to do this call. And some of the judges have said, even when the pandemic is over, they may resort to doing conference calls rather than in live appearances, because why drag people down to the courthouse, make them wait in the courthouse when everybody gets on the phone and gets on the screen, and you do it, and it's done.
Life after this, business after this is going to change
Dramatically.
Yes, dramatically. I think commercial real estate is going to take a real hit, because a lot of people are productive at home rather than going into the office and being social.
It's amazing. Just before the pandemic, I renegotiated my lease and I extended it, and because I was extending.
For the law office?
What?
For the office?
And we redid the whole office. So we've got this space age, beautiful office that nobody uses. And frankly, if I knew I could work as efficiently as I do from home, now that I've set up a computer and I have a better printer, et cetera, I'm not so sure we would have done quite the amount of renovations we did that nobody's using.
Right.
Like right now, instead of 12 people, there's probably 2 people in my office. And it's not going to change for many, many months.
Maybe a year.
Maybe a year.
Plus, yeah.
So, and we're paying full rent.
That client that I was telling you about when we were off Mike's, they had an architect, they had a designer come in, and they were almost done, and now everything is canceled. They're like, nope, shutting out down all the
We were ahead of the
renovations.
curve.
Yeah,
we had all that done.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I'm happy with the office. The office looks great. But
Joelle and I can use it.
I was going to say, I could live there.
I know.
Is there a bathroom?
Is there Wi-Fi?
All I need is, Wi-Fi and a bathroom. We're good.
There are empty offices. You put a little nice cot in there. It's got to be more.
I have a blow up.
It's got to be more comfortable than the car.
Yeah, I mean, I don't sleep in the car.
I understand. I understand.
It's very spacious.
I would bet your office is more comfortable than my 20-foot camper. Maybe. I don't know.
It's 6,000 feet. You can.
I can
think
park
it's okay.
my camper in the corner. Make that work.
That could be your kitchen.
I don't know if they take the camper on the 32nd floor, but you have East River views.
True. Sold.
You're sold. You could come up.
I love it. Yeah. Perfect. I'll start driving.
We have the espresso maker in the morning. You just pop the little pot in. You can have caramel coffee. You can have anything you want.
I
It's
know.
nice.
That is nice.
Meanwhile, I don't see Marshall here today. There's usually bagels and food out there.
I know.
No, this is the COVID.
Gypped. This is COVID time.
This is COVID time.
Yeah,
I know.
This is COVID. You put us all on a COVID diet.
It's unbelievable.
Yep. I know. A lot of people, either people gained a ton of weight during COVID or they lost a ton because they're like, I can't be in this house anymore. So they just keep finding things to do, which is great. Either direction. I'm into it.
But, but it is hard. It's like there are a couple of resorts that sometimes we go to like once or twice a year up in New England.
Are we going to have a housewives champagne problem
What?
talk? Is that
No.
There's a couple of resorts that we love to go to.
No, but they're it's interesting because they're boutique-y and they're open, and they've sent me things like spend 5 nights and pay for 3 or something. It sounds great, except it's the kind of place where a concierge meets you. They give you a glass of champagne. They give you a little hors d'oeuvre. It's very nice. I don't want to be met with somebody with a mask taking me to my room.
I know.
It's creepy.
Well, if they were naked and just a mask, I'd take that.
You haven't seen some of these people. You don't want them naked. If they're going to mask, they might as well wear a bodysuit. No, but I'm serious. I mean, or to go to the spa where you could possibly work out at the gym, but you can't take a steam, you can't take a sauna because.
Right. So what's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah. That's why I rented my space up in the mountains, because I wanted to have an escape and someplace that was cozy, because living in Brooklyn during this is the high stress level that you don't even notice until you get out of the city. You're like, oh my God, it's so, I can breathe.
Where are you in the Poconos?
I'm on Lake Tobyhanna. I'm in a little private community called
Where is
Pocono
that
Country
near?
Place. It's like the third exit outside of the city, outside of across the water gap.
We're across the Delaware Watercraft?
Yeah.
I mean, is it up near Callicoon or something? Or
Yeah,
like,
I think so. I've seen a sign for that.
I mean, because the Delaware River is like 12 feet wide at
It's
certain
pretty
places.
big.
No, but I mean, it's like at certain places in Pennsylvania, the border to New York is very close.
It's off the 80.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you go straight out 80.
Yeah, just go 80 and keep going. And then you
Gotcha.
take two turns and you're there. And then once you get into my complex, then you're like, you have to drive forever.
But
to
you
get
know
to
what?
the house.
But interestingly enough, with everything closed down, whether you're in the Poconos, Iowa, or New York City, there's no difference because you can't go to theater here, you can't go to the movies, you can't go to
Right.
restaurants. So you might as well get out of the city and do something.
Right. I have a big old yard. I can run around. Yeah, it's not, you're trapped in your house listening to the neighbor kid run 2 marathons a day. You're
Yeah.
like, fucking Arlo. That's the kid's name. They yell at him all day long.
In Brooklyn.
Arlo!
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
When I
Yes.
was there, all I wanted to go was to the mountains. I'm like, get me out of the city, get me in the mountains. I couldn't handle it.
And how did you get
And
out
also-
to San Diego? Did you fly? Did you drive? What did you do?
The camper.
I drove. So I've been in a camper since August 1st, living there full time. And then after my job ended, because it's seasonal, I took off and went to Pennsylvania and met Mara and then stayed there for a month. And we went in between the city and Pennsylvania. And then end of October, I took off and went south and bopped around in the Virginias and Tennessee, Arkansas, and then spent some time in Texas and then came here. When
When are you going to go back to Omaha?
I'm shooting for leaving here end of February.
Would you say hello to Warren for me when you get there?
Buffett?
I
Yes.
love Warren. I've waited on him a few times at the
Have you really?
restaurant that I worked at.
I love Warren too.
Yeah, I wait on his daughter, Susie Buffett. I wait on her a lot. And she comes to my produce stand too. So
Are you in the 1st or 2nd district in Nebraska?
what do you mean?
Nebraska and Maine have 2 different districts in terms of voting. It's like
Oh,
the whole state is a red state with except for this one little district that's blue.
it's probably Omaha. Omaha's
Yeah.
pretty liberal. Yeah.
I think it's in Omaha. Yeah.
hmm That's where I live, or where I
Aha.
was living. Yeah.
And might live again.
And I will be living again. That's the plan. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm going to move in with him when I go back to Omaha and we're going to give this a whirl. And the great thing about having a camper is if it doesn't go well, I just get in my camper and I have a place to live.
So
you know?
being a camper, do you feel like you're doing National Lampoon's COVID vacation?
Yeah, in a sense, yes.
Vacation.
Like this is the most I've had people next to me. Like everywhere I've stopped is state parks typically, and they're huge and there's hardly anyone there, and especially during the week. Most people are there on the weekends.
So if you're from Omaha, how did you guys meet up other than she was your mother?
In San Diego. When I was
I'm from
when
San Diego originally.
Ah.
She was my
That's why I
first
came here.
hire at Pure Fitness in San Diego when I managed Pure Fitness out there.
Mhm.
Yep. She was
So
And then
you-
I went to DC with her.
yep. When I was getting a divorce the second time.
So you were training people too.
No, I was the front desk.
Oh, you were the front desk.
Sorta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of, kind of.
She's the
I
best
showed up.
worst employee
What?
ever. She's the best worst employee. The
Was
most fun.
the best worst.
Yes.
Was. I don't drink anymore, so it helps a lot.
She would take naps, but it would be like It would be dead in the middle of the day. And so I just go ahead. And then we'd have to sneak her back out, but she'd have a big old pillow line across her face.
So comfortable in that massage room.
It's so comfortable in there.
It is.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys, we have to wrap up. Ira, where can people hire your services?
Excuse me? Where?
Where?
Yeah.
Where? At 777 3rd Avenue, New York, New York. Where?
What is it? Garr
Silpe.
SILPE
Yes.
.com? Yes.
Yes.
You guys Google him. He's badass.
Google him. Yes.
Google his clients. Yeah.
Google the Hollywood Reporter.
He might be leaving office as we speak. Okay, Joelle, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Joelle Gracie. Go forth.
Excelente. Yes, and
I got to get. I'm so behind the times. I got to get an Instagram account. Everybody says, "Look at my Instagram,"
I know.
and I do not have
I looked
one.
for you. You don't have one.
no.
Want me to make you one?
Yeah.
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 I'll connect you guys. Well, you guys are connected via email now.
Are we?
I think so, right?
Were we in the group email?
Yeah,
so.
for this
I'm not sure.
recording today. I said
I'm
the
gonna
great
take this
Ira Garr is coming
Yes.
back.
And I will take this recording to Laguna and say, see, he said that. I just put it on his tab. And
Here we are.
I'm telling you. You know, if you're with this guy, it's very romantic. Go on the cliff at the Montage. You look at the water. It's really nice.
Sounds beautiful.
He'll drive 20 hours for this.
Yes,
It's not
he
that
would.
far.
Yes, he would. Yes. It's not,
Oh.
No, he's in Omaha.
Oh, he's in
It's 20
Omaha.
Yeah.
25 hours drive, but he'd do it.
He
I know
hasn't,
he would.
he hasn't heard about
He d-
airplane yet. He's before the Wright brothers.
No, he would use a plane. He'd fly. We're trying to figure out a time for him to come to California. Hold me over until I get to Omaha.
Nice. Your family has
How
to
did
vet
you
him.
find your way to Omaha?
I took a left-hand turn, got lost.
I just kept going.
And just kept going. I was like, man, this is some great weather. Not. Yeah, no, I moved with a friend out there 9 years ago.
I know.
You gotta get off.
Well, we'll
I'm
keep
sorry.
up. We'll
What?
keep up with her.
Oh, keep up with
Yeah, we'll go visit our kid. Thank you so much for coming. Joelle, so good to see you. Have some color in the face. I'm very jealous. Please follow Happy Never
Yes,
After
you
podcast.
have nice color. Or is it blush?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. Yeah.
Oh. Did we put
Are
on
you
blush this
flirting
morning?
with our kid?
What?
This is weird.
I'm not.
I poked my daughter just a couple times. We are in Omaha. Or you can follow us also through Be Frank Network, BeFrankNetwork.com, or follow me directly at Mara Merrick. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you next week. Happy holidays!
Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye-bye.